Okay, can you hear me now? I was trying to block out some of the noise. So sorry about that. I was saying, welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday. I am hosting six ladies. Okay, can you hear me now? A second, let me get this. I was trying to block out some of the noise. So sorry about that. I was saying, welcome back to Wind Down Wednesday. I am hosting six ladies. Okay, can you hear me now? A second, let me get this. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having some technical challenges today. Uh, Let me know if you can hear me, okay? All right, because I was getting like the delayed and feedback. Yes, yes, yes. I need another, because I have a little delay, so just kind of let me know that everything is okay right now. Sorry for the noise in the background. I have some ladies that are here for the week, and I'm trying to just kind of get the muted stuff going. So I hope you can still hear me. Okay. All right, let's see. Unmute all tabs. Okay, if you can't hear me, please let me know if you can't hear me. I'm gonna actually put my AirPod, no feedback, okay, great, 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 great. All right, I'm gonna get it together, I promise. I promise, I promise. We're gonna start all over. So I have six women that are visiting, they're celebrating their 50th birthday here in San Miguel at Casa Elm, and they just left. They're having a great time. And I am just trying to hold it all the pieces together. It's been such a pleasure hosting them. So they were just heading out to go watch the sunset, so I'm happy for them. And we're just going to get through our live today. It's been a little bit hectic, a crazy week. Let me know how you all are doing. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Khadijah. Hi, Kevin. Welcome, everyone. Feel free to let us know where you're checking in from. If you have any questions or anything like that, comments, feel free to check in. I'm Michelle Wedderburn. I live in San Miguel de Allende. I've lived here since 2018, so almost 7 years, a full 7 years. It's been really amazing. I'm very, very grateful to be the founder and host of Casa Elm here in San Miguel, my boutique guest house, where we do a lot of really amazing things to help people who are interested in relocating to San Miguel, whether it's through consultations online. We did webinars, 2 webinars the last 2 Sundays. I will not be doing them this Sunday nor next Sunday, possibly the Sunday after, we'll see. We host also private and group relocation tours. You can find all of this at my website, casaelm.com. I will drop a few links in the chat so that you have access to that. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about just kind of how we may work or be working at the moment. Even for myself, I moved to Mexico to have a better quality of life, to be in a place where I felt it's safer for my child to raise him in an environment that had less consumerism, and just a lot of the things that I was concerned about in the US, I was able to shed a lot of those anxieties. So I'm very excited that you all are here. Welcome, Kevin and your family living in Colorado Springs. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, okay, retired. Awesome. So feel free to come on down and visit us sometime if you would like. But basically, I try to continue sharing my life in Mexico, my experiences over the last 7 years living in San Miguel de Allende, and also just traveling in and out of Mexico for almost probably over 20 years at this point. I think my first my first trip to Mexico was actually in 2005. So yes, well over 20 years. And it's been really beautiful, all the experiences I've had, the different people in different parts of Mexico that I've had the chance to meet. the intention here is to just continue educating you on how you can move if that's something you want to do, visit, explore, whatever it is, but also that you have options and choices, and kind of, continue to share my reasons, because a lot of those experiences can be very relatable to all of you. All right, so tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about why I made some of the choices I made to move here, and also to kind of shift a little bit more in terms of how my life showed up in terms of quality of life. Now, as a business owner in Mexico, it's not for the faint at heart. There's still a lot of things that happen and that are stressful, but there are a lot of people that have moved here, and they're either retired or they're digital nomads, or maybe they are starting a business, an online type business, a consulting type business, which is where I started, not necessarily with a brick and mortar. But I want to encourage everyone to just kind of follow that dream or follow that passion, so that you feel like, hey, this is something that I can do, and hopefully you can see other people doing it and be inspired by that in any way, shape, or form. Last week we talked about healthcare. We had Chandler on to talk about those things. You can find that on my channel. So I want to say, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel in general, and also be sure that when you're watching any of my videos, you hit the like button. I really, really would appreciate it. It's a lot of work. And, just showing up here to continue to encourage you all and share my stories with you, my experiences with you. It's something I really appreciate from you, okay? Before we get into all of that, I want to say thank you to Michelle Watson, who's here, for her sponsorship of the teas that we host here in Casa Elm. One of the ladies in the group that is here this week, she's like, wow, Michelle, you thought of everything. And I think it's just been a process of growing over time, right? When you start out, you may not have everything, right? You're running to the store to buy whatever, and then you kind of develop from there moving forward. And I'm very grateful that Michelle Watson is a part of that development in terms of having a specific tea brand here. I'm very proud to have her on the shelf. Just so you know, I explain every time I have guests, who you are, what the brand is about. So I'll drop that in the chat. So if you all are in the United States, or, want those teas, you can contact her directly at Ingenuity and Spice Company. I'm going to drop this here, and or order online if you're in the US. I know that ships within the United States, and they are absolutely amazing. Everyone loves them, and I'm grateful that they're hanging out on my shelf in the kitchen. Okay, thank you, my dear. Okay, let's see. Before we get into the topic, I'm always going to do housekeeping and things that are coming. So with Casa, tonight's topic is kind of surrounding doing a summer sabbatical, which we did quite a few of them last year, and this year we still have one left for June 22nd, starting in June 22nd. You can find the details at this link. Sabbaticals are for you to just have a chance to relax and, get back to yourself. This is, hold on, let me see. You're welcome, Michelle, my pleasure. Okay, so there is the link. You can check it out. It's either 2 weeks, it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, or you can just take time to, book a room if you would like at Casa Elm. With Casa Elm, we not only do relocation. I think sometimes people hear so much about our relocation tours, they assume that's it. We do accommodations, group things, like the group that's here this week. These 6 ladies are celebrating their 50th birthday this year. They all went to, I think, high school or grade school together. They're still friends. They have over 30 years of friendship, and they came from mostly New England, New York, or wherever. And, we put a whole itinerary together, something we worked on for like 6 months, literally. And it's now here, it's happening, and they're having an amazing time. So we create itineraries for people if you want to come and have a group event. So I just wanted to share that. If that's something of interest to you, you can just go to Casa Elm, do a contact us form, and tell us what your ideas are. And usually what I do from there is set up the Zoom. So it's mostly relocation, but we do accommodations. We have king rooms, king suites, and we also have a queen room, things like this. So you can celebrate your family reunion, you can celebrate whatever in San Miguel. If you have a very small wedding party, we can accommodate that as well. So we're here for it all, and we continue to talk about how we create soft landing experiences in Mexico. So everything's like done, I'm like, you're gonna get picked up at 6:15 or 6 o'clock. Make sure you're ready. This morning, you're gonna get picked up at 6:30 to go to the hot springs. Make sure you're dressed and ready. We've created this kind of like, you don't have to stress out about speaking in Spanish and all the stuff. My staff is like really, really on top of it, and we're able to get you from the airport and all the things. So I don't always talk about all those things, but I wanted to share that today because it's applicable to taking that sabbatical and relaxing and being more kind to yourself, okay? Before we get into that, I also will drop in the chat our relocation tours as well for this year. Let's see. This is where you can find basically the list of events that we still have. Check out our new website. If you're interested in doing a relocation tour, our April tour, which is happening in a week and a half, I think next week, Saturday, it starts, is sold out. So we do have, I think, 2 half-week relocation tours in May and another half week, I believe, in June. So you can click on that link if this is something that's of interest to you. Feel free to put a deposit down or sign up and get your space. There are a lot of people who are interested in coming here and doing all the things, whether it's through consultation, so I've had a lot of consultations, webinars, all the things, and people coming to join the tour. In the tour, you get so much information. You get to really do in-person things. You get to in-person tour neighborhoods, in-person see actual real estate for sale and for rent. You get to understand what that process looks like. What do you need? How do you qualify? You get to talk to an immigration specialist. You get to meet someone locally who has lived here and their generations past are from San Miguel to give you history, etiquette, norms, all the things. You get to talk to and tour hospitals in San Miguel. So all of this comes with my relocation tours. They're very thorough. They connect you with expats as well, and locals. So not just, the foreign community. It really is very in-depth, and the half-week tour is a little bit faster paced and maybe not come with the same thrills as the full-week tour, so you can look at the list to see exactly what that looks like and what works for you. I created the half-week tours this year because I had a few people say, hey, do you have anything shorter? And I did it, and it seemingly was what people wanted. So it's been really a beautiful thing just seeing people come. I've already had repeat clients that came this year, and they already came back and they already got their place, their new house, and they are like coming back in like a month and a half or 2 months to move in. They got their keys and all the things. So there are some that are moving very quickly. There are some that are still contemplating. What I will say is that immigration services, the way things work and the way that you qualify is definitely changing quite a bit. The processes are changing. Each consulate is different. I keep seeing all these like different kind of alert, this is what happened to me, messages on social media, which is kind of, somewhat of our way of receiving a lot of information on people's experiences with these types of things in general in the world. But there are so many things that are like happening, and I think it's important for you all to understand that if it's something you know you really truly want to do, and maybe you're not quite there yet, just kind of keep working towards that and stay abreast as much as you can with what changes are happening so that you can plan around that. You know, I do think it's still very viable to get here. You know, not just, okay, my finances don't quite meet the qualifications. There might be some other option. There might be a different consulate that can work for you. So I just want to kind of emphasize that if it's something you want to do, you really need a plan. You really need to hopefully reach out and get help if you can, or if you have time to research and do your own thing. There's a lot of free information out there. You can do that. So I just want to encourage you. I hope I'm encouraging you not to give up. Hi, Ingrid. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. So what else do I want to talk about before we jump into our topic? Let's see. We had an amazing October meetup last year for 2024, so I am doing it again this year. I think we still have 3 spaces left. I know someone signed up already for it, and that is happening on October, I'm going to drop the link, 16th through the 20th. You can see what it includes. It basically is, if you're staying at Casa Elm, it's a whole VIP experience. We pick you up from the airport, we sit down, we have dinner. It's like, you know, a prepared meal here at the house on your arrival evening. On Friday, or I think it's Friday, the day after, we do a full meet and greet with the individuals who either buy the general admission tickets and arrange their own accommodation, stay, transportation, or airport transfers and all the things, but you want to participate in these 3 things that are happening for that long weekend. So on Friday, we have a dinner. That dinner includes drinks, a couple drinks. All the details are at the link, which I'll drop in a second. And on Saturday, we have a walking tour. We do a city walking tour that really educates you about San Miguel and the history behind it. It's really, really cool. Last year, after that, we all went and had a lunch and we hung out for like, I think 2 different places, but we hung out for quite a few hours. It was really fun. And then those that are staying at Casa came back to the house, and I believe we had dinner again that night. And then on Sunday, we went to, yes, it was fun. Yes, you were there, Daphne. It was a blast, actually. I think we were 10 people, like 10 women total. Yeah. So on Sunday, we went to the vineyard and we dressed in all white. So I'm kind of repeating this experience because it was really a good time and it worked. So if it's something that you want to do again, please go to, let's see, wait, I didn't drop no, I didn't yet. Go to this link and you can secure your space there. Okay, you can make your deposit. And then you have, I think, the date is listed, but I think you have until the end of August to pay the balance, okay? And then finally, I want to say, because some people just don't know, you can book a room if you just want to stay at Casa Elm. You can just book a room, okay? You don't have to book an experience, an event. If you just want to say, hey, make sure you look on the calendar if you want to kind of be here or bring someone. But you can go book your room, book your space, and stay at Casa. You can stay in a king room, queen room, junior king, all have their own private bathrooms, so you're not sharing space with anyone. You are sharing the house, but you're not sharing a bedroom and bathroom with someone, so you have your own privacy in this regard. The house is a house, like it's a home away from home experience. It's really nice, really spacious, but you have access to a full kitchen if you like to cook. Some people don't want to do that. You have access to the people who pick up our guests and take them to town. You have potentially access to me if I'm here. So there's just a lot going on, and it's always useful because it's more than staying in a hotel or Airbnb by yourself. So that is where you can find the book a room, okay? Because sometimes people think that they can't do that, and I just wanted to put that out there. So tonight I wanted to talk a little bit about And again, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you. Gracias. Tonight, I wanted to talk about just, overwork and undervalued. I think that we all go through certain things in life where we feel this way or we potentially can feel this way. I know that for myself, when I used to work, which was a very long time ago, for someone, I often felt undervalued. I felt not taken serious. I felt that I was hired for this one position with the responsibilities attached to it, but when I showed up in more than that, it was like excitement, like, oh, because I always kind of looked at situations and say, well, how could we make this a little bit better, right? Or what could we do to make this more efficient, whatever it was. And oftentimes it did not necessarily come with a promotion per se or an increase that felt that it was fair and balanced. And it was sort of one of those things where, yes, I'm working really hard, but it didn't feel like I was actually getting to places and things that I needed to or would have preferred to have seen in terms of, compensation and things like that. But it would be like, oh, Michelle started this, group. Let's pull her in into the meeting and let's see whatever. And, I always felt back then, even to now, I needed to have my own thing, which is why I'm doing my own thing now and have been for a very long time. I quit corporate in 2002, not telling you to quit your job at all. I'm just saying it from the sense of, there are times when we show up and things can feel heavy. Now, from 2020 to 2021 which is what, I'm talking about this week, is just kind of, overworking ourselves, but trying to find like our speed and our space. Like, where do I feel like I fit in and I feel value, regardless of what your position is, whether you are the boss of your own company or whatever. I go through this a lot. I do feel oftentimes a bit of burnout, but I think I'm able to kind of like manage those processes and things because I'm doing it kind of my way, right? And your way could be working for someone in a capacity where you do enjoy what you're doing, and that's okay. I know a lot of times there's a lot of conversations around, maybe not liking our jobs and things like that. In my case, I really do, but I still have to be mindful of, not burning out, basically, because I am one person. And being an entrepreneur is complicated. It can be a lot. It's definitely stressful. And being one in a foreign country can also have a lot of added anxiety and things, especially when the language is a challenge, which it is for me. I mean, I speak pretty good Spanish, I think. But when it comes to like, those finite details or understanding like the legal aspects and things like that, it can be challenging. So I'm always trying to like, make sure that I take a step back. What's my approach? Like if I can think now about how I responded to things when I had my business in Florida, I was a little more high strung, I'm like, okay, let's get this done, whatever, or something happened, I'd be like, oh. And here I've adopted more of the approach of the culture. And I think that it's a saving grace. It's nothing negative. It's definitely not derogatory. It's kind of a saving grace in the sense of giving myself, what do you want to call it? Grace, right? Giving myself a lot of grace in that I'm able to show up in ways where I'm not stressing out all the time about every single thing. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is what we have to do. Wait, like I've had some scenarios of things that have happened and I've realized like, the advice I've gotten from people that are helping me through whatever those problems are, they're just kind of like, well, we just have to wait, or you can worry, or you can just be like, okay, this is what we're doing. And that's really where I'm at, is trying to adapt that kind of approach a little bit more, rather than, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? So, in saying all of that, is just kind of, where I'm still trying to really adhere to the messaging, right? And understanding it. So for me, when I first moved here, I kind of had like all of these things of how I thought my life was going to be. And I had to kind of pivot. And in the pivot, it was okay, do I just keep, working myself to death with trying to get this going, get this started, or do I kind of take on the benefits of being here, living here, and how do I kind of create something that supports the things that I want to do, right? And so in supporting the things that I wanted to do, I had to kind of step back from the stresses that were happening in my personal life at that time. And I really poured into the cup of, this is the direction that I'm going in. I didn't know at that time that I was going to honestly have a brick and mortar, right? It was something, it was in the back of my head. And I said, oh, maybe I can do this, and maybe I can do that, maybe I can expand. But what I did was I had a lot of faith, and I just kind of leaned into that. So sometimes, when we're like over pushing ourselves and we feel like we're not valued enough, it's kind of like, you're molding yourself into something that you probably just have to trust in, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. You have to kind of sometimes lean into the faith aspect of whatever it is that you're doing, right? Whether you're creating or whether you're trying a different job or whatever it is. But taking away from all of that is how, am I valued in this the capacity, right? Do I feel good in this capacity? And I know for myself, I've had to learn that, not just keep overworking myself and not really feeling like, oh, this makes sense, right? Even here, like when I started the first year, I was like, oh my God, I'm like exhausted. And then year two, it was kind of like, okay, the hype was there, it was out there. But now year two, you work a bit harder because it's still like out, you still have to get it out there. Some people hear about it maybe through word of mouth or whatever, but then really stepping into it, it's like, oh, okay, year three, we're doing the do, right? And I mean, there's still going to be challenges, but it's sort of like now all of that time that, I poured in, it's starting to make sense. And that's the part where the value starts to return in this regard. So, basically being here, it definitely is a slower pace in general. And that's why I'm talking about this. It's like, yes, in the US, I felt like I was constantly like, go, 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 go. Here, I feel the same, but I feel supported as well, So I think that if you intend on moving, and let's say you are still working or even not, moving away from work, like for those who are retired, or if you are still working, it's like, okay, I can potentially move to Mexico. I can take a little bit more time for myself. I can hire someone to help me with certain tasks that maybe you're physically doing compared to the US. For example, I didn't really have someone who was helping me with my daily personal things. For example, just simple as housekeeping, right? What I've noticed is, and most of my clients are women, right? Because women are courageously moving to Mexico. Not saying the guys are not, but the women are like, hey, let's get going. But what I'm noticing even in conversation is the letting go of oh, well, I'm only going to get a little bit of help, right? When someone's there to help you, or you opt to have the help, it's like, well, I only let them do this, but I don't ask them to do that for me. And it's like relinquishing a little bit more so that you can move a little bit more into that quality of life experience, right? That's one of the things that I love about being here. And it's not about just having someone who's working for you and whatever and doing things. It's really, it's multifaceted in my opinion, right? For example, the person that I talk about often, she's like my right hand person, right? I trust in her to, we've been together working wise for over 2 years. And it started very, like, oh, she's only doing this. And now it's like full on, full fledged. She manages the house and I pay her more for that and I appreciate her. And it's my connection to the locals. It's my connection to understanding the culture better. It's my connection to understanding and speaking Spanish better, and all the things. And I'm able to say, I don't have to think about doing the house things. I can kind of now think about other things, which in the long run for me and my situation and my business, it allows me to grow a little bit more. It allows me to expand. And with the expansion, I'm able to, not only have you for 2 days a week, now you can be here 6 days. You can rely on me to provide you like a full week salary, a full week income with vacation and all the things. And it's not something that happened overnight. It was a gradual thing, but because of me relinquishing, trying to do it all, and kind of leaning into the fact that someone can help me here within a means that makes sense for both of us, then it's sort of like starts to become this cyclical experience. And one of the things that I try to share with people when they first move is, okay, we have to let go a little bit. We have to lean into the society. We have to lean into the people that are around us. We have to lean into trying to communicate. We have to lean into bringing them and having comfortability for them to come into our home. We have to just lean a little bit more into that. This is how you build. This is how you create that, your question, right? Community support and friendship. I'll answer that. So it's kind of one of those things where I'm saying to you, it's not just about, oh, I feel burnt out and whatever, and I just want to get rid of whatever. It's a process. It's a trust process. It depends on your experiences. It depends on what you've heard, hearsay. Oh, I don't want to ever give anyone ABC and access to my house. Yes, things happen. Yes, people can get burned. You can get burned in the United States, but for myself, I've had really in these 7 years very great experiences with people who help and have helped. And I feel like for me, in this role of having a brick and mortar space, I've been able to really build a plethora of people that I can lean on that are locals. And I get advice from them, and I feel more confident navigating society here because of it, right? So I can pull back a little bit and I don't have to be like, oh, I have to understand every single thing because I have no one to help me and all the things. Where I felt a lot this way when I lived in the US. I mean, I had, help from the contractors and things who used to work for me, but I had to do a lot of the things myself. It was a bit easier to navigate clearly because I spoke the language, I spoke English. It was easy to find things online, but being able to come here and afford, like the things that are busy work type things, I can kind of hand that off. When I first moved into Casa Elm, physically living in Casa Elm, I remember the person I'm talking about, my right hand person. I remember her saying, oh, I could do this. And I thought, okay, I never thought about her doing all these things, but she kind of carved, literally, when I tell you, she carved a job out for herself. She was like, I know how to, blah, blah, blah. And she stepped up. And I remember thinking to myself how I had no idea that one, she was so creative. Two, she's like a little spitfire who gets stuff done. And I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I'm so heavy with all these things that I'm trying to fix and do and work and communicate and make reservations and everything you can think of. And now I remember when she approached me with all the things, I remember thinking, oh, I don't have to call the tree person and try to figure out how to say, I need you to cut my tree over here in Spanish at this address. I was just like, hey, little by little, like, okay, like, can you do this? Can you call? Because it'll be easier for you. And I would explain it in my broken Spanish. And she understood it all. She's like, oh, yes, Cece, okay, no problema, giving me advice on things, that pricing, all the things, right? So the point is that I feel less stressed. I definitely have a lot on my plate, but I feel like I have that support and it's within my means, and it's also kind of beneficial as well. So I don't, that like there is that aspect in terms of community. So your question, Khadisha, is how did you build your strong community of support friendships after moving? Someone actually asked me this same question, very similar question, in my webinar on Sunday. First of all, it takes time, I think, to find your tribe, but in San Miguel, it's just very special in this regard. It's not difficult because people are so open here compared to what I experienced growing up in Connecticut, living in Florida. I can say living in Dallas, people were friendlier than anywhere else in the US that I lived or visited. But in like Connecticut, New York, New England, like forget about it, right? It's just the way we move, right? And it's not, again, not a criticism, but it's the way we move. Moving to San Miguel, it was really interesting for me to kind of see people being super friendly. I want to say also welcome, Daphne. I'm sorry if I didn't actually officially say that. But people were always just so like, oh, where are you from? Sometimes the questions can be a little bit offensive, but it does happen. But it's kind of one of those scenarios where, you feel kind of pulled in to San Miguel culture, right? Does it happen this way in every place in Mexico? Probably not. But this is my experience. This is what I live day to day. In terms of the community that I've created, in terms of like being open with my life, putting it out there, not just on my channel, but having, our Facebook groups and stuff like that, where people are able to join and they kind of feel safe in that safe space to come in and ask questions. We always say welcome to whoever those folks are. And now we do monthly brunches and things like that. But one of the things that I wanted to say is it's not complicated, but it does take a little bit of time. And I think for myself, it was always important that I have a community that looks like everyone, right? It doesn't just look like me. It doesn't just look like Mexican. It doesn't just look like other foreigners. It looks like everyone. I have friends across the spectrum who I have been able to get to know. Part of that building process too, in my case, was not too difficult because I have a child in school. And so there are a lot of school type events where you start seeing, because San Miguel is kind of small, you see the same people, you kind of roll in the same circles. Maybe if you live in a development, you're in the same community together and you all do things that, when I lived in El Secreto, we did so many just spontaneous, let's gather in the backyard and drink wine and talk and catch up with each other. So I was able to make a lot of friends this way. When I first moved here, there weren't a lot of us living in San Miguel. And when I say us, I'm talking about Black folks. But there are now, and I've been able to be a part of that growth by sharing my story, but also, doing what I do. But I think, going out and doing things when people ask you, that's how you start getting to get connected, going to group things. There are always events happening in San Miguel, okay? There's music events like Coming Out the Ears, salsa dancing. If you want to go to the botanical garden, sometimes they have events over there, concerts over there. There's so much to do. There are brunches you can go to, and you can pick and choose, kind of what circles you want to roll in, if you want to do charity work, all those types of things. So it's not hard to connect with community, and also like friendships and things. I have a lot of folks that they were my clients and now they're friends. I'm either in touch with them, they moved here, or they continue to come and visit, whatever the case might be. There's like my inner circle, which is really kind of small because that's just how I am. And then there's like my clients, which I absolutely love, all of you that have been here, and that continue to come back. And when you're here at Casa, I'm always loving on you in whatever capacity, whether it's cooking for you, talking, drinking some wine, or whatever it might be. And then just kind of getting you connected with the resources and individuals here that may have similar like interests that you may have. But again, what I want to re-emphasize and continue to emphasize is connecting with the locals is so important, because they really do carry an interest. You still have to be discerning in terms of who you let in your home and things like that. I always suggest kind of a word of mouth scenario, maybe not so cold turkey going on Facebook and like, hey, I'm looking for a housekeeper. I actually think it's best to ask people and get a referral, so with Sandra, my wing woman, I guess, I don't know, right hand person, she has been able to connect me with people that she knows, whether it's a family member or some special thing that they might do, or like I need to have someone make curtains. She connected me with a lady who sews, all things like this, where, I'll ask her like, oh, I have this idea. What do you think? And I value what she says, she's very comfortable now to kind of tell me whatever. So the point is that has taken a lot of stress off my plate. It has made me feel like the things and the work that I do for Casa, Elm, and my clients that come here, mi huéspedes in Espanol, it's more valuable because I have someone who is able to increase my quality of life and existence. Now, I'm still crazy busy. I still have a lot of things going on. That doesn't change as an entrepreneur, but having help really does change the scale and the dynamics of things that happen. Let's see. Michelle, you asked for the right-hand woman. Did you determine how much you pay her, or did you ask her what she wanted to be paid? Okay, I actually started that's a great question, by the way. I didn't ask her because I honestly, when she told me what she was earning at her previous Mexican pesos job, which is the same Mexican pesos, but working for, and this is the second person, working for a company that has like agricultural setup. Basically, they have a farm, they hired the individuals that were close to where they live to plant seeds. And I mean, when I tell you that they were not getting paid more than maybe 200 pesos a day for a full day of work. Okay, so 200 pesos right now is maybe around $10. I pay way more than that. Just it was quite shocking to me, right? And so people bring up gentrification and all the things, and they also, so that, to me, there's like a fine line, because people will say, "Oh, well, that's fair, that's not fair, that's not what it is, or whatever, or that's not what it's supposed to be." There really aren't the same things infrastructure wise in Mexico. It's unfortunate. And even though minimum wage is used to calculate how much more we have to make to be accepted as a resident in Mexico, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily trickle down to the people in a Puebla, like a small ranch type town, because they may not be in tune with it, or the companies that some of these individuals work for are not really regulated. Maybe if that person knows what their rights are, they might go and challenge it. But most of the time, people are working because they need to work. They need to make money. They need to earn. I know like people that are not earning a lot right now, they don't work for me. And I'm pretty surprised, and they're afraid to say something because this is what they have. And it's not, the opportunities are not the same. So to answer your question, no, I didn't ask what would you like to be paid, because I honestly think it would have been a lot less. I never crossed my mind to ask, because I was already told from when I first moved here that I was paying more. And then this family, this is not the person's with me now, but this family of sisters who were working for some of the local ladies and some of the foreign ladies in our community, that we were paying too much. But I didn't feel that way. I just say I'm basing it on my feelings, but I felt that I wanted to have a relationship with someone long term. And a way to have a long-term relationship is to once again, value what they do. And I really valued my time, and I valued the fact that this person was helping me, and they were taking X amount of hours out of their day to come and do this work in my space that allowed me the freedom to focus on things that I wanted to do and the things I needed to do. Like be an amazing mother, whatever that was, take trips and explore Mexico, start a business, right? I don't want to spend, 2-3 hours a day cleaning a house anymore. I used to do this in Florida. I would burn out all day, and then I would go home because I have a certain standard of how I wanted to live, and I would do all the stuff myself. And it was a lot. And I would go to bed, drop to sleep, wake up early next morning, all the things. Anyway, the point is no, I did not specifically ask. I already knew what the average was, because I had lots of conversations with different people, and I thought, well, this is fair. And then when I moved into a full-time role, I then kind of evaluated, okay, with a friend, I said, how much do you pay your full-time people? And when I realized that this is what they were paying, and my person is working not 6 days at the time, 5, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do on a per day basis, and this is what it equals for the week. And then I moved away from even that to increase it, because now I feel like there's a lot more responsibility on it. And it's, she has expressed to me so many times how grateful she is for both not just the job and the position, but just kind of like the trust and the confidence that I have put in her. And there are many times we've had and shed tears over the support both of us get from this relationship. And I don't take any of it for granted. Like, I really don't know how well I would function without this assistance. And that's why I feel like my time is more valued at this point. I'm valuing myself more. I'm valuing the work this person helps me with. And I still feel overworked. And that's just because I have a lot of things to juggle. It has nothing to do with this person. It's just the way, the nature of the business right now. And, constantly my ideas are endless and trying to implement them. But the point is that it's something that really pushes me. It's not just about my kid anymore. It's not just about Casa Elm. I really feel like I'm supporting someone else and their children. And she recently brought another woman in who's now with me about 4 days a week. And she told me, she's like, this is what that person should get paid. And I trust that judgment, because I know that she's not trying to get over on them. She's not trying to get over on me. And she's like, this is what you should do. And this is how you should do it. And it's like, I value that, right? Because I don't want to, I just don't want to keep making mistakes in a business scenario. So I hope that's a very long answer. I think you also need to look at where you are in Mexico. Where in San Miguel, things are a little bit higher. So for me, I look at my time and I kind of evaluate like what makes sense. It's not to say throw money out the window, but I also don't want to have anyone working for me that doesn't feel valued as well, because you're in my house, you're in my space, you're touching my things. And I'm very much about energy. I don't want to sound kooky or weird, but I'm very much about energy. And I do not want anyone working for me that is angry about being here or not happy to be here, not happy to help my guests, not happy to clean rooms, not happy to be around, something comfortable and feel like they're suffering. So there's no way that I'm going to run a business and we all are not somehow gaining some kind of benefit from that. So I don't take any of it for granted. I've even moved into how do we create a whole contract in a way where, there's workers' compensation if someone's sick. So these are things that took 3 years, right? Like now we're moved into this. We're moved into growth because I'm leaning into someone else's knowledge and understanding of life in Mexico and being able to, I value the value of time is not just my time, it's all the people around me. Because I say this all the time when people say, oh my God, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so glad that, I have Casa Elm. I'm so glad that you started your guest house and I'm here and blah, blah, blah. And I say right back to those folks, I value you too. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for getting on a plane and traveling to another country oftentimes. And now you're in Casa Elm. If you didn't come here, I wouldn't be here, right? So all of this works together, and I do believe in alignment. I think it's really important. Thank you for your comment, Release Your Life. Thank you, I appreciate that. So don't forget to hit the like button, you all. So I wanted to also, and I kind of talked about this, the conveniences that we have when it comes to actually supporting ourselves and living in Mexico, that affords this situation. Taking, like I said earlier, taking a sabbatical sometimes for yourself. It's like you have some time to, clear your head a little bit, free up your mind of situations, stress, sometimes when you move away from things. And I'll give you a great example, okay? I'm preaching to myself oftentimes, okay? So when I initially planned to go somewhere, I'm gonna use like this past December and January, I have it takes about a good week for me to just come down, to just be like, okay, everything's gonna be all right. Because I'm so used to frenzy. Again, yes, I can pass a lot of things on, but as a business owner here with a brick and mortar in Mexico, there's just a lot of things that come up, something happens with the house. Even though I can say, hey, Sandra, can you please contact so-and-so, can you, whatever this is happening, or I hear a sound or whatever it is, can you please help with that? I have a new VA that's helping me, and I also have support for my social media and all the things. So, but at the end of the day, I'm up here trying to manage all those things, right? There's stuff with the house, there's stuff online, there's stuff with the guests, there's stuff with whatever. I need food, I need toilet paper and paper towels. There's always something. So it's like when I have all of this stuff kind of happening, I still am like this. My whole mind is just going. It takes me about 4 or 5 days when I'm not here and I'm on vacation to just let go and understand that everything's going to be okay. Nothing's going to blow up, and everyone's going to be fine. I put the right things in place so that we can keep rolling and functioning. So if you ever hear me say I'm going on vacation, Casa Elm is always open. It's not shut down, okay? There are people here that will help and step in. I have amazing guests who turned into full-time people who live in San Miguel, who help me, and we help each other, and I'm super grateful to them. So they will come in and kind of like help with entertainment if that's something that someone signed up for, whatever the case might be. But it takes time to kind of just come down and start clearing my mind. So sometimes taking that time for ourselves is really important, right? As I said, doing a sabbatical, whether it's here at your home, wherever it is, it's like really cleansing in so many ways. Even if, let's say, you're just newly retired and you're like, okay, as I've had people come here, they're like, oh, I just retired, but I just needed to get away. I need to regroup. I want to make notes about what I'm doing. What does my next chapter look like? And that's what the sabbaticals that we provide helps you do. The space itself allows you to decompress in so many ways. If you watch my testimonial videos, you'll hear that underlying message happening on a regular basis. I have to adapt that, but I'm here, I'm like kind of go. But when people leave and I have like a few days of downtime, that energy that's left behind of people relaxing, they had a great time, there's a lot of like laughter and a lot of positivity that swirls around, it's still here, and I get to sit down and I'm like, oh, the house is beautiful, it looks good. In the morning I hear the birds chirping, sometimes I hear the dogs barking. I know that's not overly relaxing, doesn't bother me, I don't hear it anymore. But just taking in the nature, the sounds of nature and all the things, I really am able to say, this is such a healing and emotionally healing space. It helps you to just kind of regroup and regather yourself. It's just like that. And when people make their move to come to and live in San Miguel, there's just this kind of thing where the community really embraces a lot of us. And I say this often to myself. I say, if this space in Mexico, this San Miguel, isn't for you, you're gonna know it's not for you, right? If for any reason San Miguel doesn't feel good to you, it's not for you, and that's okay, right? You go and you check out other things, or if you're not sure, you go and you check out other things, right? But the point is, slowing down a little bit, taking your time. If you want to move, check out different places, different areas to see what makes sense to you. Make your little list of whatever it is that you want to experience, and try to understand what exactly are you looking for, right? I talk a lot about that in my webinars. I always start with, what is your why? What is your reason for wanting to leave? What are you looking for, right? What is your why of why you would want to do a sabbatical, or why would you want to travel? Why do you want to go to that place? Are you looking for art and culture? Are you looking to chill? Are you looking to experience something different? Are you looking for the Spanish colonial? Do you love the church? All the things, people come here for so many different reasons. It's such a beautiful, amazing city, but so is Mexico as a country goes. But before you jump on the plane, like, why am I going there? What am I looking for? Sometimes people come and they just are on vacation and they fall in love with it and they end up moving here. There's so many folks that I know that have nothing to do with me before I even had Casa Elm that came one time, loved it, or they heard about it through a friend, visited, came back and got a place or bought a house, bought land, bought property, if they had those means. So there's like a lot to it. So I think just kind of understanding all of those factors and stuff like that. And just, like what for me made sense when I started Casa Elm, and like, what I didn't want to do from the past, and the things I wanted to do in this moment for myself. And, some of you know the story. I came here married. It was very stressful during 2020 and 2021 when we actually combine and consolidate our households and things like that. And of course, COVID was not a pretty factor in the big picture of everything. And I just felt really at that time very stressed out, very much like in the space where I was like, okay, undervalued is not just money, right? It's kind of like undervalue as a person, things like this. And I just kind of felt like, my life is my life. I have one to live, breathe. Every, second, we have to take in air and let it go. And I just knew that it was important for me to not be stressed in a way where it was like, okay, this is not healthy, right? So feeling more valued in the situation just wasn't there. And so I had to kind of sit back and say, okay, what works, what's not working, and make choices. And moving into creating this space, I really followed faith and intuition, and that faith and intuition led to what it is and what it continues to be, a haven, a space for people to kind of, be embraced in a way that was necessary, finding the peace, finding the joy. And all of that is a part of being valued, right? We all want to feel valued in some way. We want to feel that if someone is our partner, whether it's, whatever that partner looks like, it doesn't have to be a marriage necessarily, whatever that partnership looks like, right? You want to feel valued in that situation, especially as we get older, especially if we make a move to come to another country. It's like you need to feel like this makes sense for both of us, and this relationship is supporting that and all the things. So there's a lot to talk about, and in this umbrella, and is the reason what led to Casa Elm, really and truly. For myself, I really honestly live in alignment as much as possible, joy, purpose, peace. Like, those are my things. Everything, like all the stuff that you see, probably hear jingling on a regular, all of them mean something. I have this for, my belief in God and how I grew up, but I also have a lot of other symbols that for me mean and remind me of why I chose to create Casa, and why I chose to define what my life needs to look like, why I chose to be more valued in relationships, situations, and also just choosing myself to be valued as a person who deserves and requires, respect, and also in protecting my child, So all of these things are super important, and why for me, Mexico wasn't just me moving to a new address. It was, here's where I want to embrace the things that matter the most to me. And when I moved here, I was embracing being in a place in a space where my son would be safer, where I would feel like, okay, I could give him a cultural experience and all the things that were valuable to me. And this relationship that I had wasn't supporting it. And so in the end, all of the things that were surrounding that, I said, okay, now I need to figure out what will support the life that I'm looking for. Continue to do that. So making the move was a start. Continuing to, transform where necessary. Sometimes it comes with stepping back and evaluating that, needing quiet time, needing to think through whatever it is. So in the end, I really do feel in this moment, I am walking the most in my purpose, the most in peace, the most in joy. Yes, I work a lot, so I don't want that to sound like I'm just over here chilling and, everybody's doing all this stuff for me. No, I'm constantly go, 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 but I have a lot of people who, one, value what I do. I value what I do. I feel valued by the individuals who support what I'm doing, and that includes you as guests, future potential guests that have already come, so many repeat guests. I appreciate all of you, and this is magic. It really is magic. I'm so grateful for all of it, and I think that is just one of those things that I will continue to share. If relocating is your thing, I say do it. Let Casa be there to help you figure out, how can I feel less stressed in my life? What can I do? What can I experience in Mexico? There's so many steps to getting here, but after you're here, it's like embracing it, right? Embracing it in a way that it hopefully helps someone here in a positive way. I always say, be kind, be gracious, walk with grace. Don't take anything for granted. Don't assume anything. Again, there are going to be things that will happen that will probably piss you off. Maybe with your person, maybe other things around. It's normal, but understanding life is everywhere we are, and that it's important we kind of walk in a different mindset and not kind of assume whatever. A lot of times, the things that frustrate us are going to be the language, okay? And it's important that we just kind of understand what value am I going to have if I move into a different chapter in a new place, and that it is possible, but there are a lot of so many intricate things that will happen to make your situation a little less stressful for you, and maybe you feel a little bit more valued in that scenario and that situation. So that's what I have for you tonight. I hope that it makes sense. And as I said, maybe the sabbatical is a place where you want to start with trying it on. I'm going to drop the link again in the chat. So if this is something that you are interested in doing or experiencing, check it out. Or if you just want to come to Casa Elm and visit us, you can just book your room. Check it out if you want to. Let's see. Hi, Carmen. Oh, yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few days. Yes, we are super excited to host you. I know that my VA was in touch with you about a few things, and I hope that you're going to enjoy your first day or two as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Your first day or two in SMA, if you need anything, you know how to reach us. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate you. And don't forget to hit the like button, my wonderful people. And let me just drop one more thing. If you are interested in any of our tours, our April tour is sold out. Our amazing people that are coming, I'm super excited to meet everyone because I know you all are trying to get out. For those who are trying to get out, we help you with that process, okay? Maybe not everyone's trying to get out, but for those who are, we're here for it. We are so here for it. All right, I hope this encouraged you. And, feel free to check out all the other videos that are happening on my channel. And if you have any questions, you know where to go. Visit my website. I'm going to drop that as well again. My new website, which definitely looks amazing. There are still occasionally some things that pop up. So if you see or hear anything, feel free to drop that as well in an email to me at info@casaelm.com. Stay tuned. We have more amazing things coming up. I'll have some bigger announcements of things coming probably in May. Okay. Love you all. Have a great, fantastic night. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to support. Be sure to share my channel, like my channel, and if anyone's looking to move to San Miguel and wants to do a relocation tour, please feel free to check out what we have available. And if that's not going to be working for you, feel free to book a consultation, which is also on my page, okay? Have a fun, wonderful rest of your week, and I will chat with you all soon. Peace.